Oh no, is this thing suddenly on again? Oh yeah, hey. Hey everybody. For this Ike and Nana phone. Okay, let's just head on in, shall we? Right here. Hey, mute. No, I wasn't muted. I don't think. Oh yeah, this is what I was working on. Yeah, it says I'm good. So I don't know. I think I nudged the thing. It was on button mute, and then it somehow got off. So I don't know. It's weird. Whatever. At any rate, hey Top Hat, hey Quasi-Stellar, hey Poncho Hamster, hey Exotic Bunny, hey Bethier, hey WexyFX, hey Nile, hey Void Shadow, hey Riolani, hey everybody. How have y'all been today and yesterday and other days and yeah. Okay, so I was building this, though I don't precisely remember where I was taking it. Well, I'll figure something out. I suppose it's not that big of a deal if I don't fully know what to do. Smooth, chiseled. Let's try some chiseled. Here we go. Now then, so audio was kind of laggy for you. I hope it is. What is the time? It's 8:07. I don't know what other time you're hoping it for it to be, unless you are talking about yourself. But I can't know what time it is where you are. There we go. You missed Space Valk. Yeah, I missed it a little bit too. Hey. Okay. 3:07 in the morning. Jesus. Some people have just like, they're Iron Man. You know, they're determined. It's really quite like moving. Like, I'm so sorry it is early for some people. I guess that's a measure of how much do you want it, you know? How interested are you really? To the point where you'll stay up at 3 a.m.? Or maybe, you know, maybe that's too much trouble for you. In which case, I completely understand. Not everybody is allowed to do crazy stuff like stay up till 3 a.m. So that makes sense. I feel bad for y'all who otherwise don't have, you know, options. I'm sorry. I mean, there's always watching the VODs. Even though people apparently don't like doing that, so I don't know. Forget about it. You need that content. Yeah, good. Yeah, I know. 3 a.m. people are something else. 3 a.m. people are built differently, are they not? You go to sleep when your parents leave for work at 7 in the morning. God. Well, if you can get away with it, have fun, I guess. I don't know how you function unless you don't, like, have to go to school or work or anything like that. I don't see how, but okay. It's only 2 for you. Oh, well. It's 10 p.m. for you, Void Shadow. Okay, well, that's at least a reasonable time. That's still, like, just the idea of that. Like, oh yeah, it's just casually, you know, 1, 2 a.m. Ah, well, to each their own, I guess. I tell you what. Oh, man. Okay. Hank Hill? Yeah, yeah. I kind of feel like Hank Hill sometimes, you know? I don't know what it is. Like, some days I feel like Hank Scorpio. Other days I feel like Hank Hill. It's just... It's a marvelous and strange existence. I don't know. Sorry all that sugar's not in packets. Would you like some cream? No, I'm good. Oh, props to you if you understand that reference. Oh, but anyway, yeah. You definitely stayed up to 2 to 3 a.m. without noticing back when you were in Hypixel Skyblock. God, Jesus, dude. The people who were addicted to Hypixel Skyblock worry me. Like, are they also the type to, in their late 30s and 40s, discover online gambling and then lose their shirt? Are they also those kinds of people? Because if so, like, maybe just go ahead and get yourself enrolled in the Gambling Addict Anonymous group. Or the, it's not like Alcoholics Anonymous, Gamblers Anonymous or whatever. Like the people who, you know, help you with your addiction. That's it. Addiction Anonymous. Yeah, just maybe go ahead and invest in that now. Jesus. Yeah, I definitely, I've had my fair share of times in Minecraft where I've stayed up. Oh, actually, yeah. Okay, so you all were clamoring yesterday for an untold 2B2T story or whatever. And I think I got one. It's one I've not thought about in a hot minute. But, you know, it's a 2B2T story. It's the story of the very first time I joined the server. So I was just sort of perusing. I forget where it was. It was the VG board on 4chan. That's it. And I just happened to be browsing by, and I saw the advertisement for a server, and I was looking for a really awesome, really like hardcore server, because I thought of myself as a badass back then. And I just sort of found 2B2T that way, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna give this place a try. Why not? And I joined one night. I forget when it was. Probably 12, 11 p.m. You know, a semi-decent time. And when I join, I look to my left immediately. So first of all, I fall down good. So from like there to here. Maybe about here. I fall down this far. And I take, bam. Or no, sorry, I've got armor on. That's not fair. And so I fall down and I take, bam, like, yeah, about that much damage. And I'm like, what the shit? Why did I take damage upon logging in? I don't understand. I thought you were invincible when you logged in. Yeah, as it turns out, the spawn where you spawned, this was like right here was like right here was STP. Okay. Whoops. It was the spawn point that was set by the world. And that was at sea level. And from sea level to the nearest cobblestone hellhole was like a 5 to 7 block drop. And I immediately take damage and go, what? That's new. I didn't expect there to be, you know, ruins or anything of that nature. I just kind of expected there to be a normal spawn, maybe a teleport or some way to get out far, you know, something like that. I had just joined in addition to 2B2T, I had joined another server called Killian, spelled Killian Detention Center, which was one of those stupid jail RP servers. And that place had fucking spoiled me. At Killian, you were basically, even though you were officially a prisoner, you weren't really a prisoner. All you were doing was you were mining up resources from their stupid shitty jail system or whatever. And you were just grinding gear. Except you had to grind money. And it was just like 2 or 3 extra steps. And that was it. It was not hard. It took me a good week and a half, maybe 2, I forget how long, to break out of Killian. They called it breaking out of. You weren't breaking out of anything. You were being allowed to legally leave. And Killian had spoiled me for my expectations of what a multiplayer server was going to be. Because, shockingly, I'd played maybe one other multiplayer server before Killian. And it was a V homebrew server from like 2011. And it folded up shop one day out of the blue, and I never found out what happened to any of the people there, and it's just real travesty. And Killian really set the precedent of, oh yeah, servers, like, they give you free shit, they allow you free access and easy access to things like a diamond mine. Yes, there was a literal diamond mine at Killian. And it was just like night and day. 2B2T was very obviously a step above everywhere else, because right off the bat, it sets the precedent of, you're not leaving spawn today, dear new friend. Your excursion into the Outer Lands will be curtailed for a good 2 to 3 months, if you're smart. Because everywhere else, you're just gonna get annihilated. People are just gonna fucking hunt you down and annihilate you. And yeah, that is exactly what happened. I can remember getting out of spawn, like, barely. Made it maybe a kilometer. Found wheat and trees, and I was like, oh my god, is this what you have to go through to be able to get out of spawn? And I'm like, I'm starving to death, because I was stupid. I was running everywhere. So of course I was starving to death. Like, you don't run on 2B2T till you got stuff. You know? There's zero reason to run. And so I just figured, you know, oh shit, undo. And so I just figured, you know, well, if I run, I'll get out of there faster, right? Nobody can sneak up on me and kill me. Right? Right? Needless to say, it didn't go down so well for old Jack. Also, I didn't select the correct... Didn't select the correct bit. Well, I guess that'll do. Fuck it. And so yeah, it was a tough time. Because you didn't really know what... I didn't know what a hack client was. I didn't have any clue. I didn't have friends. I didn't know what FAR was. Like, FAR to me was legitimately 100 kilometers or so. Or not 100, no, 1,000 blocks or something like that was legitimately FAR. And I very quickly figured out that everybody and their brother was not only out to kill me, but that my idea of correct and good would have to drastically change right now, or else I'm gonna get fucked. And I don't want to get fucked. I want to get out of spawn, and I want to live. I want to go somewhere. I want to be something. I want to challenge myself. And so I realized the only way to do that is to not get fucked every 5 minutes. And yeah, that's how it was. That's how it was. You would very quickly run afoul of some other player they would annihilate you because everybody was hacking and I wasn't, so of course they would annihilate me. And, you know, rinse, repeat. And part of me always knew something was wrong. Like, the way people moved was weird, or perhaps... The thing that really got me was, I emerged from this system of tunnels, because there are an ass ton of those everywhere, all over Spawn. And I emerge, and I'm like, wow, this area is so expansive. I wonder who dug it. And I look over to my right, I look over to my left, and there are like 3 people making a beeline straight for me. And it's simply because, yeah, they saw me come out of the ground. Not because they saw me come out of the ground, but because they could see me walking through the tunnels that inevitably peak out of the ground. And so naturally, where else are they going to be? Where else are they going to look? Like, they can figure out where I'm going to be. In other words, I was the idiot in this exchange. And I had no clue. I was hopelessly clueless. Deliciously clueless, even. And so, yeah, that's what happened. I figured out really quick that it was in my best interest to shut my mouth, keep as low a profile as possible, and just keep pressing on. And so I quickly realized that I couldn't get friendly with the locals. There was no making friends here, at least not in the way that I had been used to making friends. And I just kind of figured, okay, if I have to be Mr. Devious, if I have to go out absurdly far, so be it. That's just what I'll have to do. And yeah, and so I was like, okay, if my impression of extreme has to change, if I have to really, like, retool... Because, I was treating this server as though it was hardcore. Because that was what I wanted. I wanted a server that was legitimately hardcore. Not like hardcore mode, but like hardcore as in the people here are not playing around. They're not here to tickle your feet or to blow smoke up your ass. They're here to kill you. Everybody here is here to ruin you. You have to think outside the box. Good luck. That's what I wanted. And so it very quickly occurred to me that my idea of everything had to change immediately. And so I immediately set the goal of going out to 1 million by 1 million. And I was going to be extra hard on myself. I was going to force myself to make this trip overworld only. And I was so convinced that I could do it. Spoiler alert, I didn't do it. I was not able to achieve that. While I would ironically go way farther than 1 million by 1 million, eventually, that would not be for several more months. And in the meantime, a lot of things would change. And so I figured, you know, I may as well get a head start on that 1 million by 1 million. And I talked about 1.2 Launch Town, the first base that I ever griefed. And I mentioned that nobody could ever tell me who built it or when. And fun fact, that was the first base I griefed because I came across it while trying to travel out to 1 million by 1 million. And there were diamond blocks. There were gold blocks, there were more animals than I had ever seen on 2B2T at that point. And I realized I had to have struck it big. I had to have really struck it big. Because, like, player-made structures near spawn were unheard of. Nobody did that shit. This was a huge, well, not that huge. It was only like 200 by 200 blocks, maybe. They even had the typical 2B2T giant burning netherrack cross up on a hill. And then I was like, okay, well, if this server is hardcore, you know, I better do what everybody else does. I gotta teach these guys a lesson, you know. You can't fuck around on 2B2T. You gotta, you know, you gotta learn to hide. You can't just build out in the open, guys. And so I burned everything they had to the ground, and I said, okay, you guys made a crucial mistake. You built out in the open, and I found you. Thank you for the diamonds. Thank you for the gold and the food. Get wrecked. And to my knowledge, those signs are still there to this day. Now, I'm not going to tell you where they are, because you'll all go there and destroy them. I'm sure there are a good 2 or 3 world downloads that have been taken of all the 100k by 100k area in the timing sense. But, yeah, that was a thing. And I can't say I was super proud of how cringy... Because, like, that makes me cringe nowadays. Because, like, yeah, it was like more than 20k out. It wasn't really at spawn. It was a lot farther away, kind of. But it was, like, on the peripherals of spawn. And so I was like, okay, well, you know, whatever. Shit like that I would encounter much, much later. I wouldn't really grief like that again. Not without severe provocation. Or if the base was, like, directly at spawn. And by that I mean within 100 to 1,000 blocks of spawn. Yeah, I would grief it. But, up until that point, I never really, like, thought of myself as a griefer. Or as the type to, you know, go out of my way to annihilate other people's builds strictly because I had to. I was a bit of a tryhard. I won't lie. 2B2T just sort of got to me at that point. Because I was like, you know, this is what they do. This is how things are. Like, I gotta, when in Rome, do as the Romans do, you know? I gotta make as many people's lives miserable as I can because it's a 4chan server. I was very well versed in 4chan. I've been on 4chan for almost, let's see, that's 2012. That was what, 6 years? God damn, I'd been on 4chan for over 6 years by that point. And so I was like, you know, this is just the way the ball bounces. You gotta be a tough motherfucker if you want to be around here. And so that's exactly what I did. And, yeah, I won't deny that was very cringy. Whoops. There we go. And, yeah, I'm just very happy that grief didn't get, like, super associated with me, I guess is the right word for it. Because, like, looking back, there were people like Javazan and Jared and other people who eventually became notorious, but were not, like, that bad, really. And there's more to them than just, you know, like, with Ormonger. Like, his, bigotry is bad attitude. Well, there's a little more to Ormonger than just that. But, like, most people won't give you the time of day if they feel like if they can boil you down to a stereotype or to an idea. And I'll admit, we did that with Ormonger, and I kind of feel bad about it because, like, there had to have been more about Ormonger than just that. But then I hear about the dumb shit Ormonger has said and done, and I go, you know, maybe he deserved it. Maybe he brought a lot of that on himself. But some people, not so much. Some people were, like, legitimately given a bit of a bad rap. And especially with people like Jared, who were very, very disturbed, very angry kids, literal children, when they garnered their reputation. Jared was never given a second chance, I don't think. Not by the rest of the community. He was, like, kind of, over time, he wasn't so bad over time, but that's because he grew up. But, like, some people, once they're given a bad rap, they kind of think to themselves, well, if this is how people see me, well, then that's how I'll be. Fuck them. Fuck society. If they're going to make me out to be the villain, then I'll be the villain they want me to be. And I get the feeling that that's kind of how Jared was for a while. And, like, I kind of feel bad about that, too. I realized that I got very lucky in a lot of the things that I did, saw, and experienced. Like, whatever bad rap or shortcomings people gave me on 2B2T, I was either able to rise above it, or it faded with time, and it didn't really, like, stain me too badly. But, like, yeah, on 2B2T especially, in the early days, your reputation was extremely important. Like, I can't stress how bad your reputation would fuck you up. Because you were... a lot of early people from, like, the face punch era likened it to being in prison. In how, in prison, you know, you're either a bitch or you're cool. And you gotta generally do something to sort of prove you're not a bitch. And just over time, it ended up being that I was not a bitch simply because I was allowed to just be me. And over time, that, you know, that benefited me. And yeah, like, there are a lot of people who were just bitches simply because they came from the wrong website, or they just they committed the awful crime of being 5 seconds old. And they, like me, they just didn't get it yet. It wasn't that they couldn't. It wasn't that they wouldn't get it, if given enough time. Just that at that moment in time, they were naive, and they would get whatever came to them. Sometimes they were lucky and someone was handing out free stuff at spawn, and other times they were conscripted into labor camps and forced to mine ender chests for weeks on end to aid some silly incursions, you know, agenda or whatever. And you know, that happens. Hey, Diluted Water, how are you? Whoops. Phil Quartz Pillar. And yeah, that happened. That happened probably more times than I care to admit. So yeah, I'm very thankful I got the start when I did. Because it wouldn't have been cool. I wouldn't have hung around had I not met and been able to do so many cool things. Like, the value of just figuring out that if you go out far enough, and that if you just keep to yourself, and you just stay quiet, only maybe occasionally shit posting in chat, it pays off. People will either not think terribly of you, or you will have the chance to eventually be included in whatever the hell is going on at that time. And it might just be one of the coolest things you get to participate in. You never know. So yeah, that was my 2B2T experience as a newer player. A manure player, if you will. Because I was shit at it. Thanks for the tutorial on domes. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Hopefully that's something you'll always be able to make use of. Hey, Roses, you're talking about 2B2T. Yeah, we are. Ah, good old 2B2T. But, you know, as much as I talk about it, like, it really did have a soft spot in my heart for a very long time. And yeah, it is what it is. I can't deny I had a hell of a lot of fun, and that I enjoyed every minute I was on there, for what it was worth. And then, I ended up building an end base with a bunch of friends who, fun fact, back in those days, there were a lot of pirate accounts. And Mojang, of course, hated that. And so Mojang eventually migrated a ton of compromised accounts. And we just kind of never got that level of cool piracy ever again. And then after that, I never saw those guys on 2B2T again, because 2B2T was not a pirate web, or a pirate server. Casual Comfy Guys, which was another server I was playing on at that time, that was a pirate server, so you could join, make an account with Casual Comfy Guys, and as long as you had your login password, you were okay. And that would allow you to basically play Minecraft multiplayer without having to pay Mojang or, you know, all that other dumb bullshit. And yeah, it worked out. It was okay. For a time, it was okay. And then Mojang rained on everybody's fun. And that was the end of it. Okay. Now then. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed that little story from way back when. Did you tell me about your battle today? Yes, tell me more about that. I haven't been paying attention to the chat. I've been busy building and talking. So what cool stuff did you do with that horde of husks, Top Hat? I can't call you Jack, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm not legally allowed to call you Jack. Nothing personal. Void, Ani, good. Oh yeah. They're here too. You'd much rather play single player if you wasn't for the fact that you need some kind of social interaction and not become a total outcast. Yeah, I won't lie. Apart from work, 2B2T was my only social interaction for many, many, many years. But like, it was a dynamic enough place that I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything. I was alright with that. Because it didn't suck. It was fun. I had fun. Okay, let's see here. How many more cats do I plan on buying? I don't plan on buying any cats. I've never bought a cat. All my cats came to me through, strays. Unless you mean like in-game. But that's not really buying a cat either. That's taming them as they spawn wildly. So I'm not quite sure what this person's asking, but, the answer is 0. I will buy 0 cats if I can help it. Anyway, you're not willing to play $20 for Q though. You build, yeah, I don't blame you. It's not worth it. Most of your Minecraft experience is single player. Yeah. Yeah, mine is probably going to be half and half. Or well, no, I take that back. It won't be half and half. It's still mostly 2B2T. Because, let's see there. I played 2B2T for 8 years. And then I've played for about 12. So it's 1/3 to 2/3. So eventually it will be half and half. And then I guess it will be nothing but... It'll be mostly single player. But hey, on the bright side, I can always tell and brag to other people that at least I got to play multiplayer when it was worthwhile to play multiplayer. Isn't that something? God, that is abhorrently depressing. That there was a golden age for multiplayer and that time has come and gone. I don't know. Let's see here. You're just curious. So, what do you think some of the most essential farms are to have at a base? Oh, a villager farm for iron golems, iron, emeralds. A gold farm is really nice. This fancy raid farm. You know, the stacked raid farm by that one guy. That seems to be a hot commodity. Stuff like that. I can't really be sure what other farms, just because, like, I've not really had to think about it. Like, I guess a bartering farm for piglins, or in the Nether, that's a pretty decent little thing to start up. It doesn't hurt to have a good carrot farm and a gold farm so that you have infinite gold carrots, because you know that's the best food in the game. What's another super powerful, super interesting farm that you just everybody needs to have? I guess a stone farm for, like, you know, just general building. Because, like, if you can't make, you know, stone very easily, you definitely need stone. Maybe a good tree farm as well. All of that is essential, in my opinion. Obviously, you need a nice house to live in. Something you can look at and be proud of. At least in my opinion. So yeah, that's some good ideas, I think. Got your oldest cat off of one of your mother's friends in 2009, then adopted another one in 2014. Pretty much got both of them for good. Okay, well, good. Yeah, having a nice kitty is... they're irreplaceable, in my opinion. A good kitty cat is a hard thing to have to replace or have to part with. I'm very happy that my cats are alive and healthy, because they could easily not be. You never know. Don't take your pets or your family for granted. You may not have them someday, and it may happen a hell of a lot faster than you expect. Sad as that may sound. How do I incorporate farms into the base itself? Kind of looks like the farm is part of the base. Ooh, man. You want to make it to where whatever you're making your farm out of, you know, the raw materials, you want to make it feel like it has a home there while also, like, being functional. You can't be too worried about efficiency when you do that. Because, like, with efficiency, that often requires very bizarre setup that is just not conducive to most bases. You want to make it feel like your farm has... like, you design the aesthetic around the farm's purpose. So, for example, a piglin bartering farm in the Nether would, like, not look like it's just cobbled together out of netherrack. It would have, you know, maybe something to do with the items piglins. When you barter with them, they give you blackstone, quartz, nether brick, stuff of that nature. And so maybe decorate your bartering area with items that you would get from a bartering farm. And then also incorporate whatever your normal palette is. So let's say you're using endstone and prismarine. You're decorating everything with endstone and prismarine for whatever reason, and that's just the palette you've chosen to work with. So, like, make the farm a focal point and make it seem like it's a worthwhile thing to be at, and that it has a function, but that it also fits in that it looks, you know, congruent with your pattern, and that you're not just shoehorning in a bunch of machinery into one area. Like, you're actually making it a lived-in part of the base. You wouldn't just stand in a corner and AFK. You would want to make it like a place you'd want to hang out. That's another big thing, is like, the farm isn't just a spot you go to get items. You don't just AFK there for hours and hours. Like, you've made it feel like it's part of the home. It's an extension of your base. Your base would feel empty without it. Something like that. That's basically how you do it. Enderman Farm is essential for early game. Yeah, that's not wrong. First person I met on 2B2T, who was that? A guy named Ruptured Kidney. He was the very first person I met who was like an actual base mate. He was really cool, but then he just vanished one day after our end base got griefed. Big question for the record. How long did it take me to build the final copy? About 2 years. Okay, I think I'm all caught up with the chat. And parents can't even take their children for granted, unfortunately, like Technoblade. Oh, I know. I know. Oh, well, how does it feel to play off 2B2T? On Xbox, you cannot play there. Well, first of all, be glad you're not on 2B2T. I don't think you would do well on there. But, it feels a little weird, I'm not going to lie. Not being on 2B2T is... I've gotten over it because I've not played there in about 2 years now. But, like... Yeah, it's definitely been an adjustment. Not a bad adjustment, just different. But yeah, you get used to it. Honestly, not playing single player would be weird now, because I'm so used to having either flawless lag or having really good, high, up-to-date stuff like 1.18. The jury's still out on 1.19. Not sure I'm gonna update to 1.19 in all honesty. Actually, I don't trust myself to not mess up this pattern, so I'm gonna copy it from over here. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm ever gonna update to 1.19 because of all the controversy. It's a very scary thing to think of. Oh wait. Shit, I should have just done that. Because, like, all of my mods are up to date for 1.18. I don't have to worry about any of the Microsoft bullshit. At least for now. We'll see if it stays that way or not. But at least for now, I'm okay. And I don't have to consider, you know, the useless updates. Any of the silly features that just aren't worth anything. I don't have to worry about, you know, other players. I don't think I can be reported. We'll see. At least for now, I don't think that's going to be a problem, but we'll see. Odd that Ruptured Kidney name sounds familiar. Yeah, I think I've talked about him before. It's going to be interesting because it was my map art base, but it's a really nice area that you want to build it nearby and make the new center. Ah, okay. Is this build going to be tied down to the main base? If so, you're going to suggest some chains. Ooh, Well, the problem is chains don't go diagonal. They only go up and down. Vertical. That's the word I was thinking of. That's the word I spilled my chai latte out of my mouth for. Yes, that was a word worth saying. Anyway, have I seen those videos of deaf cats meowing really loudly? Yeah. Those poor little babies. They are just blissfully unaware that the world outside of their perception is so not terribly nice, if I'm being honest. I remember seeing a video of a blind cat. He had to have his eyes removed because I think of cancer or something like that. And this poor cat, like, he was just a little kitten. No, maybe not even 4 or 5 months old. And of course, kittens at that age are very, very rambunctious and playful. And he was jumping around trying to play with his the other cat that he lived in that house with. And the other cat was an older cat and didn't want anything to do with him. And so he kept being bothered by the younger kitten. And so eventually, at some point, the older cat figured out the young, smaller kitten is blind. I don't know how it took so long, but it did. And so, at a certain point, the kitten was playing with the older cat, and he was all sort of curled up. You know how cats will arch their back and get all big and their fur gets all puffy and stuff? And so he did that. Well, the blind kitten doesn't have any visual cue and has no clue the older cat is doing this. And at some point, the older cat realizes the little kitten cannot see him and has no way of reading its body language. Because cats do the majority of their communication through body language. And at that point, the older cat realizes, if I just sneak away very, very, very carefully, the kitten will just be there, sort of waiting to prey and pounce and play, but I'll be long gone. And that's exactly what the older cat does. And he just sort of gradually sneaks away. And the younger cat is none the wiser. It was funny, but also kind of sad because that poor cat has no way to see. And well, it'd be that way sometimes, I guess. And so yeah, that was a really cute but really unfortunate video because I realized the cat had its eyes sealed. Cat didn't know any better, of course. And it was just so weird not seeing open eyes on a little kitten. But I understood, Sometimes that's life. And yeah, it was just really nice to see a playful kitten. And the older cat just dupes it by not having it figure out that its movements are slowly getting toward, the door. And at that point, the little kitten, I didn't see any more, but like, little kitten had to have figured it out at some point. Because, even cats can have their sense of hearing fooled. Even if their hearing is really, really good, even they can be tricked. I've snuck up on my cat, Ellie, at least 2 or 3 times. I can't believe it. Like, she'll be too busy eating or focusing on whatever it is that's in front of her, and she won't notice at all. What is the percent? Probably 65 to 70%. I couldn't tell you an exact figure. Sorry, Jose Maria. It's going to be a while, so just buckle up. The ride never ends. So yeah, it was a really nice little video. Hey, Creeper YT Gaming. Hey, Isaiah Pace. I have no idea what happened to their cat. It was just blind. I couldn't tell you what the cat went through or why they had to have it blinded. I'm sure it was a medical procedure, and it just kind of happened, you know? Do I think that the reporting system... Yes. The reporting system will be abused. Sadly, it doesn't look like they're going to do much to prevent that. They don't strike me as willing to take precautions. And yeah, Microsoft is not only lazy and inept, but maliciously lazy and inept. I guarantee you that unless they just decide to, you know, mass unban people after a certain point, unless they do that, if you get banned, I'd be willing to bet, unless it's for a specific amount of time, you're just banned. So unless it intentionally expires, you're hosed. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't have any faith in them. Like, nobody has faith in Microsoft, of all people. And the sheer amount of problems with, like, this profanity filter that they put out. Yeah, we heard about Technoblade. We were all here when that happened. But anyway, yeah, the amount of, like, trouble this profanity filter is going to give, like, I don't think people understand just how troublesome that's going to be. The profanity filter is going to be a nightmare in and of itself. You can't even say the word Japan. Like, what the fuck? All because Jap is a slur, apparently. And people get all up in arms about shit like that. And so because, you know, the word Japan holds the slur in the name, what the fuck do you do? How do you type out Japan? Nihon? I guess Nihon is the only way you're going to be able to say the word, because otherwise it's going to get censored by Minecraft. It's fucking retarded. Can't say D's nuts. Can't say any profanity. Just goddamn. Stick a fork in us. Imagine not being able to go on to 2B2T and say the N-word. Like, just imagine. How restrictive is that? How pointlessly restrictive is that? And meanwhile, there are going to be half-baked idiots who come out and go, well, you shouldn't be able to say that word. And it's like, you can make arguments for that all day long, but the idea is, if you aren't willing to defend free speech, especially speech you don't like, then eventually the walls will so close in on you, you won't be able to say anything. You will not be able to express any ideas for fear of them all offending and destroying people. And you in turn being destroyed. And it's just like, god damn. We collectively have learned nothing from the past 100 years of tyranny. Soviet tyranny, Chinese tyranny. Like, we've learned fucking nothing. It hurts. I can only hope people will one day decide they've had enough and somehow rebel. I don't know what that would look like, but who knows. Actually, you lived in Japan for 5.5 years, and to be honest, you barely know any Japanese because your dad translated things. Ouch. Well, I have 4 years of university study in Japanese, so that's probably more experience and power than you have. I'm sorry, Creeper YT. You probably shouldn't have let your father do all the translating work, if I'm being honest. Probably should have let him teach you some, and then you start using it. You know? Making conversation and stuff. That probably would have helped. Because, like, doing conversational work was the #1 way we learned. Or wait, not this one. Let's use this one. Because conversational work is very good for tenderizing the brain meats. Yeah, it's not bad. Bye, Void. Take care, Void Shadow. Thanks for coming out, man. Jack spitting straight facts. Well, I'm not spitting that many facts. Like, the thing of it is, I'm just saying what everybody else is already thinking. Like, I'm not brave. I'm not special. Nothing I've said here is all that earth-shattering or groundbreaking. I would genuinely struggle to think of something that's just so unique. It's just never been said before. Like, no. Did I see where that one guy bombed the Georgia Guild? Yes, I did. I gotta wonder what people are going through. What the hell is going through their heads? There's an Easter egg in Minecraft named... Oh yeah, name a pig Techno. Yeah. I don't think that's doable in this version. It's probably from the newer versions. Just like this? Yeah, I didn't think that would do anything. Well, if I ever update, I will make a techno pig or something. You were like 4 when you moved to Japan, and then you moved to the US when you were 9. We did have Japanese class in your school, you just never bothered to listen. Ah, well. Rip. Yeah, I killed the pig named Techno. What of it, Poncho Hamster? You want to fight about it? Okay. This isn't bad. Oh, piss. There we go. That's where I wanted it. Anyway, old Minecraft memory just came back to you. You're back in the 360 days with the old tutorial world. Oh man, I've heard a lot about that world. And some friends and you were building a city in survival that touched the then world border. Oh yeah, wow. Yeah, they only gave you 1 kilometer square area, I believe it was. I remember back then, there were a lot of kids in the neighborhood. They've all since moved away or grown up. Many of them are not kids anymore, sadly. But back in those days, there was a lot of them had the 360 version of Minecraft. And what shocked me more than anything was that there was that world border there, and that they barely gave you any space. And then on top of that, you had barely any sort of like resources. I remember telling this one kid, hey, look, if you're not careful, you'll mine up all the diamonds in your world. Because, yeah, you'll just run out of diamond. It's a very real thing when you've got like 400-ish blocks in which to build. And that's it. Or rather, you've got like 500 blocks from 500 blocks in all directions. There we go. That's where I want it. And if you're not careful, you'll run out of everything, honestly. I could see a lot of resources going, because this is in the days before you could reliably get, you know, tools from villagers and other things like that. And so I was like, yeah, if you're not careful, you're not going to have diamond tools eventually, because you'll just run through it all. There was no anvil for repairing yet. There was no like any of the cool stuff that Java had. 360 was stuck in like Minecraft beta for the longest time. You remember playing Minecraft Lite on your phone? Jesus. I think if the Minecraft community gives enough backlash, Microsoft will do anything about the reporting system. I think it's hopeless until they make a move or it becomes infeasible for them to continue. What that looks like, I have no idea. So who the hell knows? Like, maybe if we could sue them for ruining our access to a game we already paid. Who knows? Do I know about Warhammer? I've heard about Warhammer in passing. I don't know a whole lot about it. I'm not like... I don't really care. So, like... It does sound cool. I won't lie. But, like... I don't know. I'm just not that into it, yeah. Anyway, there's this Japanese celebrity who doesn't speak Japanese well because she went to an international school all her life. She asks her fans to write everything in hiragana and katakana with no kanji. Oof. Yeah, I know that feeling. The feeling of, Nihongo hetta. Yomenai. Sore mo yomenai. Yeah, I know that feeling. The sheer amount of kanji you have to look up to be able to do anything is just... Yowza. And see, the problem is, most of us... If you weren't a child when you learned kanji, a lot of that's not going to stick with you. And so you're not likely to be able to just pick up a kanji book and start reading kanji. No, you're going to have to like... You're better off doing it on a case-by-case basis. And even that gets really kind of boring, shall we say. It's awful. I'm just glad I don't have to worry about that. Because, like, I don't have to learn kanji to function. I suppose if I did, I would probably eventually get it all. But, like, eventually is... I don't know. And then again, maybe that would light a fire under my ass and make me do stuff. Who's to say? Oh, well. If you weren't foolish enough to delete that world out of anger, you'd have had a very historic build. Oh, man, I wish you had kept it, Top Hat. Oh well. Yeah, there are a lot of really old Minecraft builds that I had from way back in the day that I wish I had kept. Or rather, I wish I had thought about making more than one backup of. Because then the hard drive all that was on died in early 2012, late 2011, somewhere in there. And so I lost a ton of very prolific old worlds. I don't think some of them would have worked, though. I don't know, maybe I would have updated them as Minecraft updated, so I might have been able to keep some of them. I don't know. OG Pocket Edition was cursed. Tiny World, basically only creative. Oh. Yuck. I do remember seeing a lot about Pocket Edition. Not a terribly amazing looking thing, but you know. When Minecraft went to 1.0, you went to beta on the 360? Why did you go backwards, Stinky? What's wrong with you? Minecraft 1.0 was still basically beta. Like, I realize a lot of people didn't watch my Ballad of Andor 333 video, but like going back to an old version of Minecraft, like, you know, that. And that was 1.3. Yeah, going back to an old version like that really showed me that it took a long-ass time for Minecraft to really be 1.0 and greater. Because for a while there, 1.0 to like 1.4-ish is basically just more beta. Like, it's just beta extended. There's really not, like, this big magical difference, you know? Like, yeah, there's enchantments and other things, and people didn't necessarily like that. Okay, well, fair enough. But, like, some of that stuff was still basically the same we'd been having. Oh, shit. I can remember doing my first major mod pack in 1.2. And it was the Tekkit mod pack. Who remembers Tekkit? God, that was so nostalgic. And I remember playing Tekkit when it was new and it was hot. It was fun. And then about 4 or 5 years later, I went back to try to replay Tekkit. And it was so poorly kept and out of date. I couldn't handle it. I had to quit. Yeah, Tekkit. Oh my god, I love Tekkit. It was so good. I don't think another mod pack like Tekkit has ever taken off quite the same. There have been a lot of mod packs that have been, you know, popular, but I don't think anything has ever hit the same high that Tekkit hit. Some people don't like the new updates and you feel it's not like it used to be. Do I like the new updates? I'm probably not going to 1.19. But not because of the content, but because of Microsoft. Because I don't want to download any of their garbage onto my computer if it's going to end up compromising my system in some way. Or if it's going to compromise my ability to play Minecraft. I don't want anything to do with that. I don't know if that's going to be enough, is the problem. But we'll see. Okay, looking good so far. I just want this overbearing streak that everybody in the world seems to be on these days. Let's just be as authoritarian and unnecessarily powerful as possible. Like, let's just let's just make everybody serfs and tell everyone what to do, how to live, where to go, what to eat. Restrict prosperity and wealth as much as possible. Let's just destroy everybody's quality of life and go back to the way the Middle Ages were run. Like, fuck that noise. I would love nothing more than for that to just stop being a thing. I don't know. Why isn't this glowstone rectangle thing on a portal? Yeah, I know. Oh, the Aether mod. Man, that was something. That was my first major overhaul mod. Oh my god, the Aether mod. I remember waiting with bated breath for that, the first... What was it? Their first, I guess it was their first public version. And yeah, I just remember waiting with bated breath and going, oh my god, I need this now. I need this in my life. And it was hella cool. Oh my god, it was so fucking awesome. Also, 20 feels a bit much. Well, actually, I think I can just sculpt this. But yeah, that first release of the Aether mod was something. That first public version that I played way back in the day. I haven't touched that mod since 2011 when it came out. Damn. That really takes me back. Who remembers having to finagle with Risugami's mod loader and a bunch of other stuff just to get stuff like that to work? That was an annoying... The juggling act of installing mods was never that simple until, like, I guess the Forge days. Aether was ahead of its time, definitely. I don't know that, Did Aether mod ever, like, get, discontinued at one point? I want to say it did. Oh, hello, Dino177. How are you? Yeah, you remember? Yeah. What am I building? It's a building that I had a drawing of on my desk since May of last year. May 28th. From 2021. There we go. Oh. Oh, poo. Oh, piss. I fucked it up. Four. 2, 3, 4. I'm trying to make this look sort of like a an ellipse, I guess is the right word for it. I don't know. It was discontinued for a while now, but they added a ton of new bosses and overhaul. Oh, really? Okay. Aether's been on and off. Aether 1's discontinued. Aether 2. Well, I heard about the Aether 2 when that was released. But, like, that was released a long time ago now, though. Aether 2... Like, I think Aether 2 has been worked on for a longer time than they worked on Aether 1. Or Aether or Aether, however they said it. But still, you know, I wouldn't mind giving that one a look. Just to see how it is. What version is it stuck in? What's the current plans? I remember fighting the Valkyries to try to get, what was that, the blue key or whatever? The yellow key, something like that. And I remember I was on my really, really shitty laptop that was really beginning to show its age. And that was in August of 2011, I want to say. And I was very obviously not going to win that fight with the Valkyrie. Simply because my FPS was like 5. And fighting the Valkyrie... Oh, shit. Fighting that Valkyrie with 5 FPS was not going to happen. Or, excuse me, fighting and winning was not going to happen. And I don't remember how I won. I think I was able to use too many items to cheat in all the garbage that I needed to, like, unlock all the doors and stuff. Because, like, I just couldn't fight. What's the story behind my Discord username? Oh, Akashina. That was just a name I saw in a manga once a long time ago, and I liked the name. And I didn't want to use Jacktherippa because, like, everybody and their brother would bombard me with join this Discord, join that. They still do. But, yeah, I kind of wanted, when Discord was brand new and we were all jumping to Discord, I wanted to get something not quite so obvious, because by this time, Fit had already made a ton of videos on 2B2T, so everybody already knew who I was and had heard about me through Space Valkyria and through Fit. And so I was like, well, if I want to stay somewhat incognito, I'm gonna have to, like, take a name that nobody's gonna expect. Well, what's a good name nobody will expect? Oh yeah, that one. And that's it. And that's really all, you know, all the reason you need, honestly. Of course, nowadays, it probably doesn't matter so much because, like, nobody's... Other than people who intentionally join the Discord because probably these very streams. Like, nobody's really looking for me, as it were, I don't think. So, like, it ultimately doesn't matter. But at the time, in 2017, 2018, 2019, it gave me some insulation from random new people. Basically, that's all it was. And then fast forward a few years now, I don't really care anymore. Although I used to love when people would message me in 2B2T, and they'd be like, oh my god, are you the real Jacktherippa? And I'm like, no. Are you? And, like, they would, many of them, you could tell they didn't know what the hell I was saying or doing. Like, they couldn't tell I was rusing them. They couldn't tell that I was just messing with them. And that the no, are you, was just a playful way of being coy. And that it didn't actually mean anything. And that I was just messing with them because they were bothering me. And, like, yeah, just the sheer amount of, like, confusion that line generated was hilarious. I actually think they added Aether on Bedrock Marketplace. Really? Fuck. That is straight up theft. Did you ever tell me how you found a kid at the park? Oh yeah, that's right, you did say that. You fooled some poor child into believing that you are the one and only long-arm Pop Bob. Did you ever, correct the poor child's thinking? Or did you leave them hanging? I bet you left him hanging, Top Hat. You're neutral to Fit, but his biggest sin was definitely exposing kids to 2v2t. Yeah, I can't say that's a good idea. To be fair, I think some of that was algorithmic magic and not just his own personal, hey kids, watch this video on the oldest anarchy server in Minecraft. I don't think that was 100% the intention. I think he was by and large just blessed by the algorithm. And like with most things, blessings can sometimes just turn into curses. And yeah, that happens. Ah well. I know that in his first earlier videos, he was a proper 2b2t player. I can distinctly remember watching his very first video, or first 2 or 3 videos during the Russia War, of him just raiding random bases. Now what the fuck is going on here? Like, when's the last time you heard Fit talk like that? He would play copyrighted music, which is something even I've had to not do. Ugh. The shit YouTube does to us. But yeah, just, it was pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie, his early shit was actually pretty dope. I just wish it could have stayed that way. I know there was probably no chance of that ever staying, but man can dream. I'm sure most of those videos have been removed too. Oh man. Fit was the hero we deserved. Until he wasn't. Such sad, much sorrow. Whoops. Okay. It's not terrible. Kind of liking the direction I'm taking this in. They just had in-game chat blurred out and a couple scenes clipped. Oh, really? Huh. Well, I'm shocked. I sort of prefer Fitz vids where he's not actually playing, just telling this week's stories. I guess. I mean, he's at least doing something in those that's, like, productive, kind of. It doesn't feel like it's just more of the same, you know? Like, I'm traveling to this place because party. Or because I want to. Or I'm checking out the ruins from, you know, however long ago. Please do a Roblox stream. No, God no. Fuck Roblox. You found out that he knew about 2B, so you told him who Pop Bob was, and he was just like, yeah, I could beat him in PvP. Uh-huh. Well, I'm sure that child will one day figure out the dark truth that you are in fact not Pop Bob. But I guess until that day comes, you know, he can brag to his friends that he met the Pop Bob. The Pop Bob. Congratulations on deceiving a young child, though, Top Hat. That is a marvelous accomplishment. I have to hand it off to you. You are a credit to the community, the Minecraft community, and the 2B2T community, but really more the Minecraft community as a whole. Because as we all know, Minecraft is built on the deception of children. Let's see here. He removed the one video. Oh, yeah, where he read Jared's journal. God, that was hilarious. There's still voice clips of that around. That's where we saw Fit's real face for the first time. Was when he made that video. Let's see here. You know, Khaleesi, when you met her, she had some very choice words about it all. Which surprised you. Ghost should know. No, not everybody were friends, no. Khaleesi, however, I feel bad for her. She was too stupid and young, really. She was just too young to know better than to not do what she was doing. Which was to be a girl on 2B2T and, like, entertain the simps. Because good God, did she have so many fucking simps. She had so many guys who were just, like, all over her. Because she was a girl on the internet. And, like, I hate to tell you this, but if you're a young girl on the internet in a predominantly all-guy zone, I guess is the right word, you're gonna regret it. You're gonna do things you will... You know, you're not gonna be thinking with all of your brain cells, and you're certainly not an adult, so you might not want to do and say things that will get back to others, because all it takes is one nerd getting doxxed or getting mad and doxing you or something, and they will wreak havoc on your life. And the problem with being a lone female in a predominantly male environment is that you are at a disadvantage intellectually, because men work extraordinarily well together when it comes to tech. And I don't know if anyone's told you, because too many people these days are all too willing to go yes queen, but you're not likely to win against more than one opponent. Being overwhelmed is so easy to have happen. And yeah, men tend to outperform women in lots of techie, science-y fields. And that's just the hard nature of life. Oh, whoops. Undo. Shit, where did... Oh, that's where it went. Okay. Undo. 80. Okay, hopefully this pastes here. Perfect. And so, yeah, Khaleesi did too many dumb things that drew too much attention to her. She got doxxed, and she wasn't too happy about it. And I don't blame her. But at the same time, you have to be careful in an environment like 2B2T. Because one of her big simps was Tristan. And if you don't know anything about Tristan, know this. He's a giant fucking simp. And he will very quickly turn on you. Because, like, he's one of those incels that believes that people should dance to the tune. Not just women, but people should dance to the tune that he's singing. He's a bit of a creep. He really is. And yeah, like, you don't want to be around someone like that, just ever. And it's just, it's awful. So yeah, I don't blame Khaleesi for quitting when she did or being angry about all the things that happened. Like, you should just have the sense to not put yourself in a dangerous situation or a dangerous place. Even though 2B2T being doxxed wasn't, like, that dangerous, but it was also a different age, a different time and place. Nowadays, getting doxxed could be bad for you. You never know. No sense in taking foolish risks. But yeah, a lot of younger people don't get that. You know what I mean? They don't seem to understand what foolish risks even are, or how to identify them. Oh well, what can you do? Who was worse, Jared or Tristan? Tristan. Jared was bad in the beginning because he was a dysfunctional child in a highly toxic environment. But that Jared kinda sort of calmed down over time. But Tristan only ever ramped up, from what I understand. He never changed or got better. But Jared kind of got a little better. He still kind of has his problems, from what I understand. But I don't want to go into those too much. Think your hate for 1.17, you can't handle the love for 16.5, and that's why you didn't recognize Deep Slate as a legitimately good-looking block. Oh no, Deep Slate was an amazing block from day one. It just sucked that it was stuck in such a meh update. Do I have an observatory on Space Valk? No, I don't see a reason to. Play a game called Rust, and literally just putting on a female voice and asking for stuff is enough to... Yeah, I know, right? It's pathetic. How many times do people repost Space Valk 3 as their own on our Minecraft TikTok? I have no idea. Let's see. I think I caught up with chat now. Oh yeah, I saw that staged MLG clutch. That was so stupid. I'm glad people have begun to realize that that's not their build, though. That's really nice. I'm happy people are getting that. I'm not really sure why I would need an observatory on here, though. Mobzilla. 2BGT friend of yours just got a girlfriend and we were all giving him a hard time. It's not impossible. You just can't be a dumbass. And being on 2B2T makes you want to be a dumbass. Like, that's not generally the type of behavior girls like. Because, you know, evolutionary biology has tailored everybody to seek out behaviors, you know, conducive to survival. Ah, well. Jared was online somewhat... Okay, cool. History may not repeat itself, but it sure does rhyme. Oh, I know, right? It fucking echoes. You know a Constantian player who's female, and she has had multiple simps for no reason. One being several years younger than her. Oh, I know, right? That's kind of how the 2B2T environment is, whether it's Constantium, a 2B2T clone, places like that. Predominantly male environments will naturally breed that kind of behavior because they can't, like... A lot of those guys don't live in the real world. That's the thing. It's not easy to accept that you've kind of screwed yourself to a degree. A lot of those guys also want to reject society, which is hilariously stupid. Because, like, yeah, that's like one of the first attitudes you learn to get rid of. Fuck. It's really quite sad. But it's a prison of their own make. That's the worst part. They'll never get out of it until they want to. Ah, well. Even went as far as showing her base's chords onto a public subreddit pretty much out of spite. Yeah, exactly. That is the exact behavior that these guys do, and they're young dumbasses. They don't understand women. They feel like they're entitled to some degree. And it just ends up breeding this mentality of hatred. You can't do that. That's why you generally keep your mouth shut about personal information. Even if you're just a guy, even if you're just some dude, keep your mouth shut about your personal info because A, it can never help you. If you're lucky, it's like talking to the police. If you're lucky, the most it will do is just not hurt you. But if you're really unlucky, it can ruin your life, or at least it will put a huge dent in your happiness. And there's no sense in doing that. There's no sense in making yourself miserable for no damn reason. Like, why? Just don't give people personal info. Just don't. Don't put it on social networks. Don't put it, in your bios. Don't do that shit. Do not tell people about yourself that don't need to know. Don't broadcast that shit out to the universe. I don't know why people have not yet learned this lesson. But they haven't, so. Ah, well. I feel bad for a lot of the Zoomers because they had to learn that lesson the hard way. Some of them still haven't learned that lesson because they grew up with social network stuff from like day one, pretty much. And so they didn't really have, they were almost guinea pigs in a lot of ways. They didn't really have anyone to stop them from making mistakes online that would one day haunt them. And yeah, I feel bad for them. I really do. There's only one female, that plays 2PTT, and she's like all the other people on the server. If you want to play it, you have to play it as the men do. Yeah. Just don't say who you are or where you're from. Jesus. Keep that shit on the down low. But there are so many people out there that just have to learn that lesson the hard way. And like, okay, you want to learn it. You want to learn the hard way, you be my guest. Okay. Now then, I had this as a more flat blade-like structure, but I think I'm gonna... I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. Actually, I may make it a square. Well, I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. Thought Anarchy players were grown enough and would take sim stuff as an adult joke. Turns out you're wrong. The earlier Anarchy players were all mid to late high school. These are the people from like 2011, 2012. And by the time a lot of them grew up and were in their 20s or mid-20s like I was in my early 20s. Like, I kind of knew all of that was a bit of a joke at first. But the thing about jokes is that half of the people who hear a joke take it seriously, and the other half realize it's a joke and will, I don't know, ignore it or something. And so it becomes a problem. Like, some people are incapable of distinguishing between a joke and reality. Those are the people who are really scary. there's not much you can really do about it either, because it's up to personal intent. So I don't know. Anyway, you're thankful you learned that lesson early. Listen to computer lab teachers. Oh, you were very lucky, Top Hat. We were all in an environment, grown up in a time and place where people took security far more seriously. Yeah, I don't know that any of the Zoomers got any of that. With Jared, you're pretty sure he practically grew up on 2B2T had an... Yes. Yes, it did. It had he already had abuse issues, but 2B2T really, like, was the gasoline to the smoldering embers of hatred that were in his heart. 2B2T was the gas on his fire. Like, there's a reason he went so crazy for a while there. And it was almost entirely because he was on an adult server with no supervision. None. Uh-oh. Huh? Oh, that's what's wrong. Okay. I was like, something doesn't match up here. But yeah, poor Jared. Like, I can only hope he can keep himself, like, somewhat okay going forward. But who knows? Like, with me, I was already an adult, a very young adult, but, you know, an adult nonetheless. And so I kind of got it that, you know, because I'd been on 4chan for about 6 or 7 years by that point. And so one of the big things on 4chan, 4chan has had banner contests for the greater part of pretty much its entire lifespan. And the thing about banner contests is that snappy, clever banners tended to be successful. They tended to win these contests, and they would get put up as banners, which meant every page you would browse to, you would inevitably see one such banner pop up. Well, one of these banners that eventually popped up was a very wise piece of copy pasta from years and years earlier. Only a fool would take anything said here seriously, which basically meant take everything you see here with a grain of salt. And yeah, yes, do not just believe the shit you see on the internet, especially on 4chan. Don't just believe it just because it's there, just because someone said it. Like, have more common sense than that. And yeah, no, I don't know that many people. I'm fairly certain that banner is still there, but like, I don't know that many people took that one seriously. And so because I had been on 4chan for so long by that time, by the time I was on 2B2T, I kind of absorbed a lot of those sayings and those, you know, those ideas, like only a fool would take anything said here seriously. Like, hey, you know, tread cautiously, be smart about your surroundings, treat this place with respect and dignity, and it might just treat you with that same respect and dignity. Not a bad idea, I thought. So, yeah. Only a fool would take anything said here too seriously. And unfortunately, a lot of people are very foolish. Oh, 1 block short. Let's go down one. Perfect. Okay. Most people this very day still don't understand one of the most powerful weapons is information. Oh, I know. I mean, honestly, as silly as it sounds, as cliched as it was a giant joke back in the day. But it's absolutely true. Who remembers the G.I. Joe? You all may be too young. G.I. Joe was really popular in the 80s. It was a cartoon. And one of their catchphrases of G.I. Joe was, knowledge is power, and learning is half the battle, or some shit like that. I think it was learning is something, and knowledge is power. Yeah, that's it. And that's a really old saying. G.I. Joe did not invent that saying, obviously. But, like, it's a lesson worth learning because, yeah, knowledge is indeed power. And it's not one that it's not a lesson people have really figured out. At least, not the younger ones. Younger people might have to learn that lesson the hard way. Stack of 3. And that's just kind of how it is. It sucks, but like, what can you do? Oh well, no matter your level of mental guard, 2BTT will slowly change you. Yeah, it will change you, but that doesn't mean it always has to be for the worse. I feel 2B2T can be a positive, fun experience, and it can be a horrible negative experience, depending on how smart you are and how careful you are. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I was the best at all of that. But I will say that I did know going in, hey look, this was a 4chan operation once upon a time. Be careful. You know how it is on 4chan. You've seen enough of that to know what and what not to do. Don't be a dumbass. And that's all. Sometimes that's all you have to do is just remind yourself, hey look, these people may be out to get you. Sometimes. You never know. So I don't know. Some people will just have to learn the same lessons 5 and 7 and 8 times. So yeah. Such is life in the zone. Anyway, tell you why I started to start from the top or the bottom of this build? I don't know. I just wanted to. But anyway, let's very quickly do an overview of it. So that's the build so far. I'm liking it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I am loving it. It looks different. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, one last minor change. See lanterns with glowstone. There we go. Now that looks way better. It's got this sort of golden theme to it. I like it. I don't know what it'll be. I don't know what I'm going with that, but I like it. It's just a creative exercise, like everything else. So yeah, at any rate, I will catch you all again next, what's today? Today's Wednesday, so tomorrow's hardcore, final Stanley Parable, more hardcore, so next Monday. Damn, how time has flown. At any rate, thank you guys for coming out and watching. I will catch you all tomorrow for hardcore. Thank you all for giving me a little moment of y'all's time. Thank you all for just coming out and giving me good stuff to talk about. And I'm happy to just shoot the shit. Next Monday, it's more building with Jack. Just more Space Valk 3 next Monday. That's all. But at any rate, y'all have a good one. Bye.